Hey everybody, today I have a very special treat for you today. I have a personal trainer joining us to help talk about our physical health. Hello everybody, my name is Kendrick Crockett and you are tuned in to 247 Worship and Praise. God bless you and thank you all for tuning in today. Today we're going to be doing something a little bit different than what you're used to when you come on the channel. You know, here at 247 Worship and Praise, we believe in building spiritual health first and foremost. Secondly, physical health and financial health. In that order, you know, we realize that our spiritual health is by far the most important. And, you know, even in the spiritual aspect, if you're spiritually healthy, it can affect the physical and the financial. But today we want to actually put a focus on that physical aspect of our health. And today I got my cousin joining me. He is a personal trainer. He's been doing it for, I believe, 6 years. God is really blessing him and his entire family. He has a beautiful family. So, you know, I'm going to let him introduce himself, kind of go a little bit more in depth. But, you know, Jonathan, I'm going to give it over to you. Just tell the people who you are, what you have to offer, and how did you become a trainer? What was the path to get you to this certain point in your life?
So I'm a personal trainer here out in Ames, Iowa. I run a business by the name of Truth Performance. How I got here, I was blessed by a couple that saw that I had a high work ethic level. You know, just I had a hard work in me. And so they wanted to sit me down and they asked me, John, what type of career do you want to go into? And I told them I grew up because my dad, he focused on lifting weights with us. And that was one of the things that we loved doing growing up besides going to church. But they decided that they wanted to invest in me and allow me to go to school to become a personal trainer. They paid for all of my fees and they allowed me to have the highest level of certifications you could get in personal training through the National Academy of Sports Medicine. So God had favor upon me to be able to have a career in this field. And looking at it, you know, it's been probably like 5 years, just looking at it as, man, what did God want me to do with this business? And he gave me the name Truth Performance. And basically what we do, we want to help athletes, help those that want to increase their physical health, just to have a healthier life, but not only have a healthier life, but help athletes in the state of understanding their identity within sports. Because sports is just a platform for them to use to be able to present God's glory or his kingdom. And so what is it when that sport is over with? It's your identity that God created you to be able to be an inspiration to those. So we definitely want to help our young people establish understanding who God is to them and what gifts he has given them to be able to perform in this world.
Powerful testimony. You know, if you heard that, you should have been blessed by it. I was blessed by it. It touched my heart to hear how God just worked in your life and just moved on your behalf, and he opened up a door for you, right? And it's clearly a passion of yours. And, you know, it's funny because it says it gives us the desires of our hearts, right? So when your heart is in line, he'll match up the vision with your heart's desire. So that's just a blessing. I just really enjoy that. Appreciate you sharing that testimony with us. I know that you work with athletes. So before I get into that, quickly, do you also work with those who are not athletes who just want to, you know, be fit per se?
Our whole goal is not just athletes, but we want to see everybody reach the best version of themselves when it comes to the physical aspect.
We're getting ready to approach a new year. You know, every single year, millions of people around the world, they aspire to improve their health, their physical health, you know, and they do it via dieting and working out. But, you know, every single year, you know, the gym is packed out for that first few months, but it starts to tinker off, right? People start to fall off within the first 3 months. So my question to you is, what is it that prevents people from doing it for the entirety of a year or turning into a lifestyle, right? And what would be your suggestions to help people maintain it throughout the course of the year or turn it into a lifestyle?
The biggest thing for those that are going into a new year when it comes to establishing physical goals for their health is being able to have a plan in mind. What I like to call it, you know, reverse engineering, knowing where you want to be at the end of that plan and following back through that plan of how it's going to start. And so a lot of people, when they get ready to hit that first year day, they're hitting the gym, they're going hard, they're motivated, they're inspired, and they start to dip. It's because they have not found a renewing of the mind of why am I here? What is the purpose for why I'm here? And what am I trying to achieve? There has to be a huge depth goal in the heart that is saying, hey, I'm going to push through this through the whole year. And I'm going to transform the way that I think about these things because I want to make it a lifestyle. I want to make sure that I'm healthy for whether it's my kids or for my wife or for when my grandkids come into play. So those things have to be processed in the beginning. We just can't do it because everybody else is doing it going into the new year. We have to do it because what do we want for ourselves? What do we want to achieve for ourselves for the long term? That's basically what I would say is making sure that we renew the mind every time. We also want to establish new things to do also within the process of going through that journey to make sure that we stay motivated and inspired in what we're doing.
It's a mindset thing as far as the purpose, because if your purpose is to please men, right? If your purpose is to just fit in with the crowd, then you're going to fall off. But if you change that thing, I love how you reframed it to, I'm doing this so I can, be able to spend more time with my kids, go out there, play basketball with them, whatever, have more energy for my family. Oh my God, I'm telling you, blessing me right now because listen y'all, I'm not just doing this for you, but guess what, for me, because my wife is on me all the time about improving my own health. So I wanted to bring him on because, I believe it can not only bless everyone who tunes in, but guess what? It starts with me too, right? So I'm really appreciating that. That's awesome. I love that mindset that you just kind of laid out and having that plan and the purpose behind it. And I believe that really, really transforms things. So I appreciate that. One of the number one goals that people have every year is to lose weight or even maintain a certain weight level. What would you say is one of the number one keys in, ensuring that you meet that desired weight level, whether it be losing 10 pounds or maintaining a certain weight level? What would you say is the number one key in doing that?
When it comes to maintaining a weight or we are trying to reach a weight goal, we definitely want to make sure that we do the research of, what does it take to get there? Breaking it down for as far as, a workout regimen and even a nutritional plan, because they both go together. They both complement one another. And so one of the biggest things, and I don't want to complicate this, is that it's good for people to understand what macros means. And when we talk about macros, we talk about three categories. That's proteins, that's fats, and that's carbs. When we talk about fats and carbs, those two could get kind of complicated because, okay, we can have fats and carbs, but no, we want to make sure that we establish having healthy fats and healthy carbs. Healthy fats may be avocados versus eating French fries at McDonald's, and healthy carbs may be coming from having like almonds or some type of source of nuts versus, we're having pizza and that's full of carbs, so when we have, those particular items and we know how to establish our macros, then we could calculate how much we need on a daily intake for caloric purposes. So that allows us to establish whether we want to maintain a certain weight or if we want to drop weight and, lose some fat, be toned a little bit, have a nice shape to ourselves. So those are some of the things as far as establishing those goals of maintaining weight is, understanding how much food are we going to put into our mouth, and also how active do we want to be throughout the course of the week. Or like we said, it's a lifestyle. Everybody's on a different level. Some work out 2 times a week or 3 times, 4. It just all depends on where that person wants to be. But the research has to be done and understanding how that process works.
In the aspect of that dieting, how does somebody know if they have the proper diet in place? I think you're kind of gonna go towards the research level of it, but how do I know if I have the right diet? Because everybody's body is different, right? One diet doesn't fit all. So how do I know if I have the right diet?
When it comes to that, now you can do research. That doesn't mean that the research is always accurate. When it comes to a person really wanting to know how to establish that piece is by I recommend them going to their physician and having their physician, recommend a dietitian to them, somebody that can really break down that field for them, that is going to tell them with, having the research of knowing who that person is, knowing, whether they have allergies, this or that, and establishing a plan for them to be able to find out what it is that they need to be eating and what they don't need to be eating. So definitely, I think that's the way to go is, asking the people that are your doctors and get an established plan laid out for that.
I need to go see my physician, get a dietitian recommendation, and get a plan together. Along the lines of dieting, once again, I don't diet. I know I need to. I'm guilty as charged, everybody. So, and the reason I don't diet, and I could be speaking for others, and I'm gonna ask you this way. I believe a lot of people don't diet because the taste of foods. We love good flavorful food. I love good flavorful food, and I have a wife, I'm telling you, she know how to throw it down. It's hard for me to get away from that good food. So I guess my question is, what would be some recommendations as far as some healthy food choices that, well, you're not really losing on the taste end of things? Anything you can recommend in that category?
I'm a big person. I love to grill. Okay. So when it comes to grilling, obviously there's a difference between grilling and frying foods. Right. And when we talk about those excessive oils, when it comes to frying foods, obviously that adds on more calories. And then also it adds on the breading of meats, if we were to say chicken, things like that. But if you love to grill, I would say that's a great place to go. Or you could bake foods. I'd rather grill them because it allows for that crispy taste. Now you got to know how to grill because you can't dry out the meat. I also would say when it comes to things like, because I know people really don't care for vegetables that much, but you can do a lot of different things with vegetables. You can top them with stuff that'll be healthy. So my wife has a recipe where we take bell peppers and we cook up turkey meat. And then we put that turkey meat into the bell peppers, and we add, low fat cheese and stuff like that, which is great. And once you put it into the oven and you bake it, it has like this crunchy cheese taste and the flavor of the turkey meat that's in it. So I meant to say ground turkey, if I should say that, because you could also season it up. Now, that's a healthy choice. It's very low on calories. It's low on fats. It's low on carbs. And you can eat a lot of it because the bell peppers weigh nothing. So that's another choice for people. That could be a snack, that could be a lunch, something that is light and doesn't carry a lot. I would say another one, because I think people struggle with, foods like loving to eat pizza, loving to eat, fried foods. You could always make these things at home yourself too. Right. And change the ingredients. You could look for ingredients that carries low carbs. I know for me, we like to make pizzas at home, and rather than me using a regular dough crust, I like to use a cauliflower crust. And I tell you this, man, that cauliflower crust is really good. Now, this is I'm a person that grew up off of, fried foods and stuff too. So, right. Stepping into a whole different world, I was like, okay, here, I'm going to try that out, see how it go for me. You know what I'm saying? And when I did, with the purpose of understanding where I want to go, right. I found things that tasted good to me as well in a whole different realm. So it's just, the fact of, looking and researching when you go to the grocery store, can I use this sauce versus this sauce? Or can I use this cheese versus this cheese? Giving things a chance and seeing how it goes and going from there.
All right, so I guess I need to give it a chance because, there's a perception thing that we have in the mind, right? I already perceive dieting, the food ain't gonna be no good. But if I go out there and do some research, try some different things out, I probably found that it's much more tasteful than I probably thought it was. As far as time of day, is it important that we eat at certain times of day? A lot of people say that the breakfast is the most important meal, or you shouldn't eat a heavy meal before you go to bed, or all these different things that are out there. So how vital or important or not important is time of day eating?
There is a rhythm you want to get your body into. If you're eating at 2:00 at night, now I know that's a little bit late, but some people do eat at that time of night, and then the next day you're eating at 8 p.m. You know what I'm saying? your body has to find that place of adjustment, because there is a time where the body closes up shop, when you're going to sleep, and it's breaking down everything that was being processed throughout the course of the day.
Right.
Not only just, foods being processed, energy and things like that, but also the brain is going through its phases of cleaning itself out and moving trash out in order for us to be able to internalize, learn, and be able to have memory.
Right.
So now you may say, what does that have to do with foods? Well, understand that foods play a big part in the emotional part of our stability within the human. So being able to have certain foods allows for us to be able to have a happier us, or we're eating a certain way that we shouldn't be eating, and it makes you feel droopy, it makes you feel sad. It does have an effect that way. So then when we talk about time frame on eating foods, it's very important, because you want to establish a time frame, and usually it is recommended at least 2 hours. So you'll have a decent, healthy breakfast in the morning, and then you may have a snack, 30 minutes later in between, like a small snack. But then 2 hours, hits, especially if you're a busy person, you're establishing that time frame. Then you want to have a good lunch. Same thing going forth, having dinner, and then after dinner, you have a snack. Now, that is the I want to call it the way of processing it in the brain. But in reality, we all have different lifestyles. I think it's important that we just find a time and be consistent in order for our body to be able to function and flow. So what I would say is that you really don't want to eat late. I wouldn't want to lay up on having a huge dinner and going to bed right afterwards, at a late time. You do want to sit up and allow the body to process that food before we do lay down. So I would say getting meals in somewhere between there's people that like to eat early, 5 to about 8 being the latest, is a good time frame of getting that meal down and allowing it to digest before you lay down. So basically what I'm saying is you definitely want to set out a time frame. You want to be consistent, allow the body to process things in order for it to be broken down, because those foods are broken down for the purposes of protein synthesis that allows for muscle growth. It allows for us to be able to bring in healthy carbs for energy, fats that are stored, for other purposes of energy and functions of the body. So it is important to have that time frame, I would say. And if you can, try to stay away from eating super late.
What about that late night snack? I like to give me a little bowl of cereal in.
I would say, look, I'm a victim to that sometimes too. I eat something late as well, but you got to try your best. That's all you have to do for yourself, is try your best.
Awesome. All right, I only got one more question for you. One more question, and we're gonna wrap this thing up. So my last question to you is, as a personal trainer, when someone approaches you, an athlete or a non-athlete, about being fit, they want to get fit, what does that mean to you? And also, piggybacking off of that, when they approach you, what is the kind of the first order of business to set them down that path to fitness?
When a person approaches me about wanting to be fit, that's very important to me because of the profession that I'm in. Just a little bit of history about myself going back is that I never always was fit. I used to be a fat kid and I used to get picked on, but as I moved forward in the process of, God blessing me to be physically fit like I am, I feel great about myself. And so there's that person that is always seeking out the goal. When the time is right for them, you want to be there for that person as a trainer. And so for me, when it comes to seeing a person step into that place, my question for them is that, okay, we're ready to do this. Are you ready to take that mental step? Because once again, it always falls back on that piece, because we may be ready to do it now today, but when we have had a hard day at work and, we got a session later on, are we wanting to do it then? And so it's always that part of, okay, we want to make sure that we are there mentally taking those steps forward before we start to dive into the physical. And so for me, I always want to be there for my client in the fact of teaching them how to train and how to do certain exercises, and also being able to talk to them and encourage them and lift them up and teach them in a way of letting them know that, hey, this is a day and a step forward towards having more confidence, having more faith, being able to step out and trust that God is going to take you there. And so that's the biggest part here, is that, we want to not just train the physical, we want to train the mind, because we want people to be able to be strong in both parts. On the other end, the process of how that looks like for us at Truth Performance is that when we go into that consultation of talking to a client about what they want to achieve, in order for us to be able to establish programs, because we don't just give any type of programs, we create everything from scratch, tailored for every last person we work with. And so when we go into that part, we always go into an assessment, and that assessment includes endurance, it includes cardio, and it includes strength. It also includes a overhead squat assessment, which evaluates the postural. So we establish those things because posture is key to longevity of physical health. You got to have a solid foundation first before you could build on top of it. Just the same as you got to have a foundation in Christ, and it has to be built on top of that as well. So same thing here, in the mental, spiritual, and the physical, those things have to be leveled out. So that assessment is for creating a foundation of where we're at, how hard can we push until it's a point of, hey, we want to be at the safe point and challenge our client. And we don't want to be too low and not reach the goals that we want to achieve. We want to be right on point when we go into creating that program for our clients. So that's kind of how we run, the flow of our training with our clients. And we always go through monthly reassessments with people that we have had for, long periods of time, because the body changes over time. It changes over time as you go through training. So just staying on top of your health is key, and that's how we like to perform it.
This is awesome, man. That was a great answer. I really appreciate you coming on and just sharing with us, to help us with our physical health. I appreciated the testimony. It was great. Like I said, I didn't even know you all that this was his testimony, but it was a blessing. We didn't quote any scriptures today, but I believe that God was in this. I believe that God was witnessing even in us talking about our physical health, because guess what? God wants us to be physically healthy as well. God wants us to not just be spiritually healthy, but he wants us to be able to live a fulfilled life, physically and financially. We didn't talk about the financial piece. We're going to do a video about that another time, but thank you again, Jonathan, for coming on and just sharing with us. But before you do leave, why don't you just tell the people about, I believe you told me you have an online program that you offer.
I do offer a variety of different programs. It just depends on what a person is looking for. You could go to our website, truthperformance77.net, take a look at what we're about, read up on our about histories and stuff about what our business does, and you'll be able to find programs on there as well. Another place as well, you could go to our social medias, truth_performance at Instagram, and also on Facebook as well.
I'm going to make sure we put those links to his site in the description. You can go and check him out. Be supportive. Hey, if you're looking for some health goals, he can help you achieve that in the physical aspect of things. God bless all of you. Again, if you have not already, please subscribe to the channel and like this video and share it, because I believe this could be a blessing to many people. So please like and share and subscribe to the channel. God bless you and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Take care.